Hi, fourth grade. This is Miss Wilson coming to you again with another video. Today we will be talking about adding and subtracting fractions. So before we get started, what is a fraction? A fraction is part of a whole, like a piece of a whole pizza or a whole pie. A fraction is less than one. Yes, there are numbers that come before zero, and those are fractions. They are less than one. And then a fraction is also a part of a set. So not only are we going to have shapes that we're going to add, but we're also going to have sets that we're going to add. So in order to have a fraction, you must have equal parts. Not equal parts. This is an example of a not equal part. This is not fraction. Equal parts, everything will be the same size. So what does a fraction even look like? Our top number is what we're going to call the numerator. That's how many is shaded or how many we're talking about. So we have a set. It may be how many is blue. It may be how many is red. If it's a shape, it's how many is shaded. And then our bottom number is called the denominator. And that tells us either how many is in a group altogether or how many parts is in that shape. So let's get started. In this video, we're going to be adding and subtracting fractions with like denominators. So when we hear the word like, we have to also hear the same denominators. And we said denominators are our bottom number. So there's 3 steps that we're going to use today. Our first step is we're going to add the numerators. The second step is we're going to keep the denominators the same. And our third step will be to reduce or simplify if possible. And I'm going to add another step onto this. Our first step will be to make sure our denominators are the same. So let's go ahead and get started with some math. All right, so we're going to add 1/3 plus 1/3. So my first step will be to make sure that my denominators are alike. Make sure they're the same. This one is a third and this is a third. So that tells me in my answer, my denominator is also going to be a third. Because when we add or subtract fractions, our denominator does not change if they are like denominators. And then I'm just going to add my numerators. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I'm saying that 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3. So let's try another one. Let's do 1/5 plus 3/5. So the first thing I'm going to do is ensure that my denominators are alike. They are the same. My denominator is 5. My denominator is 5. So in my answer, my denominator will be 5. Why does my denominator not change? Because once a fraction is partitioned or broken into a certain number, you cannot add 2 different denominators. So if this piece is cut into thirds and this piece is cut into fifths, I can't add them. They're like adding oranges and apples. But if this piece is cut into fifths and this other piece is cut into fifths, I can add them together. And then, so my denominator stays the same, and I'm going to add my numerator. 1 plus 3 is 4. So I'm saying that 1/5 plus 3/5 will be 4/5. So let's try another one. 9 100ths plus 32 100ths. Doesn't matter how far or how high our denominator is. Our first thing is always to ensure that our denominators is alike. There is a procedure if they're not alike, but we're not on that yet. We're just on adding and subtracting fractions that have like denominators. So And my answer, my denominator is going to be 100. Because again, I cannot add nor subtract my denominator. My denominator stays the same. Then I add my numerator. 32 plus 9 is 41. So let's do a couple of subtractions. So let's do 9/10 minus 7/10. Again, the steps do not change. I'm going to ensure that my denominators are alike. 10, 10. So I'm going to keep that same denominator. Then I'm going to subtract my numerator. 9 minus 7 is 2. Our key word today is retain. The word is retain. And retain means to keep the same. So we're going to retain our denominator. So let's try another. We're going to do 8/9 minus 6/9. So our first step is to make sure that our denominator is the same. 9, 9. That means in my answer, my denominator will stay 9. I'm going to retain or keep my denominator. And then I'm going to subtract my numerator. When we're adding or subtracting fractions, we have to be mindful of our sign. So we'll know whether we're adding or subtracting. And 8 minus 6 is 2. So again, our word for this video is retain. And retain means to keep the same. We're going to retain our denominator when we're adding or subtracting like denominators. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Can't wait till the next time. Bye.